What's going on, everybody? Terrell Friday here with FutureDDS, and on this installment of the DSC series, we have Andrea Valencia from University of Maryland School of Dentistry. It's School of Dentistry, right?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. She's joining us today. Thank you for taking some time out, Andrea, for just taking some time out speaking with us. This is gonna be very helpful for a lot of people.
I hope it will be.
Okay, if you could, just reintroduce yourself. Tell a little bit about where you're from, where you went to undergrad, what you majored in.
Sure. So I'm originally from Bethesda, Maryland. I went to undergrad at the University of Maryland, College Park, majored in general biology, minored in French. And yeah, so now I'm a D2 at the University of Maryland School of Dentistry in Baltimore. I live there now. Now I'm in Bethesda though because of this virus, but I'm really happy in dental school, and it's been a journey, and I'll share some more about that.
For sure. So, all the pre-dents out there, and I'm sure you were wondering while you were preparing for the DAT, what is the number one tip that you could give on how to do well on the DAT?
So personally, I guess, I don't know how to phrase this. I didn't take the DAT as seriously as I should have. I set out a whole summer to study for it, but I was assisting and shadowing that summer too, and I thought that I would just be able to have time after work to study. And I did a Kaplan class during that summer, and the class was super helpful, but after working all day in an office, I'd come home and I was really, really worn out. So I didn't really get as much studying done in like June and July as I had wanted to. So when August came around, I wanted to take my exam at the end of August. It was kind of crunch time for me. So I stopped working. I told my dentist, like, hey, I need to actually study for this DAT. It's a big deal.
For sure.
It was really crunch time, and I spent honestly from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. at the library for 4 weeks straight. And I do not recommend that because although I did okay, and now I'm in dental school and it all panned out.
Right.
I feel like I would have done a lot better if I had just given myself a lot of time and taken, I guess, smaller bites. I think
Right.
I overwhelmed myself unnecessarily. And in hindsight, I would have done things differently. But I guess my number one tip would just be to start small and give yourself plenty of time. Don't rush, and really be confident in yourself, because there were a lot of areas where at first I began studying and I was like, oh, I totally know this stuff.
Right.
And then later on, after taking practice tests, I realized, oh, I guess I didn't have as good of a handle on those topics as I originally thought. But then I was surprised to see that other sections I did a lot better in. So definitely focus on your weaknesses, but then also realize that you got here for a reason. You are smart enough. You're gonna get through it. And yeah, I guess just be confident and trust yourself, I guess.
Got you. Okay. So, a lot of people, I'm sure, are interested in University of Maryland. It's a very popular school, oldest dental school and all. So what are some things that Maryland does, for any potential prospective students, any type of feeder programs or enrichment programs you guys have?
So in terms of just through the dental school, I know they do, I participated in one of their Impression Day programs where students can come and basically just have a tour of the school, get to speak with some faculty, talk to some students, learn about all the different specialties. So that was really great. But also just obviously I went to University of Maryland College Park. So we have a program with the dental school where through our admission or our pre-health advising office, they set up mock interviews with third or fourth year dental students.
Okay.
So that was honestly really helpful. And like, hearing from my classmates who went to other universities, they didn't have anything like that. So that was really, really great. And it was helpful not only kind of to put a face to the school, but just to get feedback and like really see what's going to help you stand out as a student. But I think Maryland offers a lot of great like impression day type things where people can come and really like get to know the school before the whole application process begins.
Right. That's perfect. Everybody wants to get a glimpse in before they put that deposit down. For
Definitely,
sure.
definitely.
That's a lot of money.
You wanna be sure, and it's hard because there's so many schools and they all have great things going for them. But at the end of the day, choosing a dental school is really, it's more than just, oh, this is the best school, or like, oh, this is the most affordable one. There's a lot of factors, and you want to make sure it's a right fit for more than just financial or proximity reasons, I guess.
Definitely. So, speaking of so many schools, how many schools did you actually end up applying to? Do you remember?
Yes. So I applied, I believe, to 10 schools.
Okay.
And I heard back from Maryland. Maryland was the first school I heard back from on, I believe, I want to say like January 1st, maybe January 2nd.
Okay.
And so I interviewed, oh wait, hold on. Sorry, that was my acceptance. I heard back from them for an interview in August, and I think it was scheduled for October.
Okay.
So Maryland was for sure like the first school I heard from about an interview, and it was the first interview I had. I then later heard back from a couple other schools, but I had already had my interview at Maryland, and I heard back about my acceptance at Maryland before the other interviews were even going to happen. So for me, the choice was very easy. I wanted to go to Maryland from the beginning, and so I heard back from them first, got accepted there first, and then put my deposit in.
Of course. How was the interview process for you there?
So I thought it was really straightforward. A lot of the questions were just like based at, tell me about yourself. And basically one question that actually, I'm not sure if they still use this question, but one question that threw me off was, they asked me to list 3 positives and 3 negatives of dental school or dentistry. And the 3 positives, super easy. But 3 negatives, it's kind of hard to think of 3 negatives. Right? Like you can think of like, I think I ended up saying 2 and then elaborating on the second one a lot because I said that dental school is expensive and it takes up a lot of your time and you have to be really dedicated. So you kind of have to put your other parts of your life on hold for a bit, on the back burner at least. So that question was kind of tough, but honestly, it made you think a little bit more. And I guess that's really the goal of the interview, is to have you, to see if you can think, critically in those moments. And yeah, I think all the other questions were very straightforward. I think that the people that they elect as interviewers are great. And I'm looking forward to actually being able to do that next year, hopefully, because it was a really good experience.
Nice. So you had a student interviewer, or did you have a student and a faculty? Or?
So it's a faculty member and a student, and they there's, I think, I want to say like 10 questions total maybe, and they go back and forth between asking the questions. But the student is like, I think, kind of typing your answers, whereas the faculty members, the more like guiding the discussion.
Got you. Okay.
But yeah, it was just the one interview. I think it maybe is like times out at 30 minutes. Very straightforward, not scary. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, after you get your acceptance into school, how was it for that first year when you actually had to transition into, that big workload and, all the dental classes? And how are you actually, introduced into the dental clinic?
So the first year is definitely tough. Obviously, people, I guess, are torn between which is the hardest year, D3 year or D1 year, because D1 year, obviously, the transition is like what really is challenging for most students. I mean, my senior year in College Park, I was taking pretty, simple classes. Like I wasn't super challenged, and then transitioning to dental school was a lot, and there's a lot that faculty and your professors expect of you. um it but what makes it all a lot better is just having a really good group of friends. Luckily, I knew like two of my best guy friends from College Park are in my class now.
Right.
So we kind of like formed a big friend group kind of early on, and it made studying and, just getting through the tough times, it made it a lot better. But yeah, there were definitely some classes like gross anatomy that are really tough.
Yeah.
But then there's like, it's really exciting, the like operative, when you first really get to start drilling on teeth. Like it's so exciting because you can actually feel like, oh, this is what I'm going to be doing. Like this is, gross anatomy, as important as it is, you're really not going to be using it on a day-to-day basis. So whereas like operative, you really see the connection between your education and your future career. um, but it definitely takes time management. um, Something you have to learn. But my roommate also was in my class, so the two of us were really like, it was great to have her on the same schedule. We'd go to class together, we'd walk to school together every time. So I think that's like very crucial to your survival.
True, true. So how often, or I guess how early do you guys get introduced into, I guess like the pre-clin, and I guess clinic if you're able to assist first year?
Right. So basically all D1 year is just didactic, like just classes, there's no clinic. D2 year, we, again, basically all didactic classes, but much more relatable to dentistry.
Hmm.
And then we start having rotations in the clinic where we practice on each other. For example, right before spring break, right before school closed, we had our, we call it stab lab, which is where we do the local anesthetic injections on each other. So we start doing more hands-on stuff, but then our clinic orientation is scheduled for like end of May, beginning of June. And then we would just start clinic right then. But now with the closure, I'm not sure what's going to happen with that. But I think they're going to prepare us as much as they can. And we've had 2 years of prep, but it's stressful.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely is stressful. I mean, even after if it was a normal school year, it'd still be stressful. So I can only imagine.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. It's just a little bit of added pressure, but that's just going to make us better dentists in the
yeah,
end, I guess.
y'all will be fine. No, no, y'all will be fine. Truly, in the end. So I guess just a fun question here. What is something that you feel is unique about your school? About your experience there at University of Maryland.
So, let's see. Um, I think that the like the I know in a lot of other dental schools, like there's a lot of schools that have smaller classes, and although I've heard that that's great and like you get more time, more exposure with teachers and everything, I feel like because my class is like 130 students. So at first I was like, wow, like that's a lot of people. I don't know if I'm ever going to know all 130 people. But like now I look back and I'm like, wow, I I know everyone. Like even obviously not everyone's my best friend, but
Right.
just having like at least like some kind of relationship with almost all the students in my class is really great. And I can say for sure that we're a really special class. Like we support each other a lot, and like we're always on the same page. We always want to, raise each other up, not tear each other down. I know a lot of going through the application process, I heard from so many schools, oh well, like it's really competitive here, and like it's like everyone's going to be gunning. And it
Gunners,
really, it's like, yeah, everyone wants to do well, but no one's going to do better at the expense of someone else. And so I think that we get along really well. We have a lot of really good times. I mean, our group meetings always going off with funny memes, and like, it's just a good time. But yeah, I guess that's I guess unique to any class. Any class, you're gonna find a lot of awesome people.
Right.
And you're gonna make a lot of good memories. I feel like I already have so many good times, and I'm only halfway through it.
Nice. Okay, so just the last question here to wrap up. If you could go back in time right now and tell yourself, the younger version of you while you were still applying to dental school, if you could give yourself any words of advice, what would that be?
I guess don't take yourself too seriously. Like it's hard to not feel like you're not doing enough. Like you look at your friend and they're studying all the time, or they're doing all these other extracurriculars, and you just have to know that like what you're doing is enough. And like there's always room for improvement, of course. Like there's always time for reflection and to see if like you're really on track. But at the end of the day, like college and like your youth is meant to be spent like enjoying it. And like even so, like in dental school, it's not like, oh, everything's so serious now, like you can't have fun. I just think that like I was very pressed to like put my best foot forward and like make sure everything was always like cross my T's and dotted my I's. But really, like, you're gonna be where you're meant to be, and your hard work does pay off. Like all those years of struggling through orgo and gen chem, all those classes, like you might think, oh, one bad grade, oh, you're gonna beat yourself up about it and that you're not gonna get into dental school. That was me once. Like I thought that. But looking back, I tried my best, and my best got me to where I am. And I wouldn't change anything, but I would appreciate the little moments of like, you're never going to be in college again. You're never going to be applying to schools again. You're never going to be touring different schools. So like really just even now, just don't take yourself too seriously. Like life, I'm getting so sentimental now. Like
no, this is good. People need
everything's like taken in stride. Like everything is meant to be, what's meant to be will be. And I wouldn't really change anything necessarily. I would just say, have faith in yourself. Like same thing I kind of said for the DAT, like be confident in yourself and know that like your best is good enough, and you're gonna achieve the goals that you've been working towards.
Man, that's perfect. A lot of people I know need to hear that right now. Just keep your head
down. You gotta have faith in yourself.
Yeah, you gotta have faith in yourself. You got to, believe in yourself to reach that goal. But I think that's gonna wrap it up for the interview. I want to say thank you again, Andrea, for taking some time out speaking with all the viewers, all the pre-dents out there. For sure. But if they have any questions for you personally or anything about University of Maryland, how could they get in touch with you to ask you any more questions?
Well, my Instagram is Andy Valencia. It's ANDII VALENCIA. So you can DM me there, or you can email me at Andrea ANDREA Valencia VALENCIA at UMD or umaryland.edu. Sorry.
Got you. Perfect. Well, thank you again. I guess if you guys have any questions for me or Tyler, you can hit us up on Instagram as well, _FutureDDS. Send us a DM. We can answer any questions for you as well. That's going to wrap it up. Again, thank you, Andrea.
Awesome. Thank you.
Best of luck.